So yes, human error, sure, but great news, we're all at fault because we didn't fix it in time. So this was a $12,000 mistake.
So let's get into why this was a nightmare. We showed up at the property one day and one of the basement windows had been broken into. Now keep in mind, this is a really nice neighborhood. Like, this is not the kind of area where you hear about break-ins all the time, but we got broken into. And probably because they could tell it was a vacant house. I mean, you know, for a good chunk of the time that we've owned this property, we've had a dumpster sitting on the driveway. So I think it's pretty obvious that it's vacant. They went around to the backyard, they snuck down into a window well, broke one of the windows, and cleaned the property out of all of the contractor's tools. So all of the contractors ended up having to make insurance claims, which, you know, sucks, but is what happened.
And it's a timely process. Insurance is not a fan of giving money away. It's not.
And what happens when you've got an entire team of contractors that don't have tools?
Work stops.
That's a really difficult position to be in for a fix and flipper, because now we're facing, well, do we wait for them to get the insurance money? It's going to take 2-3 weeks for them to get the insurance money to go buy all new tools and come back and get to work. In the meantime, we're cold calling. I mean, I think Brock spent a couple of days just cold calling new contractors and other contractors that we've worked with before, saying, can you please get here and help us out so we can stay on our timeline? So, you know, that was frustrating. I think a couple of people did come through for us, so we didn't come to a complete stop, but it definitely slowed down for about a month, almost a month. It was about 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
That progress just took a dive and just putted along for a little while.
And something you have to recognize too. So if you have an electrician and they're re-roping stuff or they're changing stuff, if you try and hire another electrician to come in and figure out what the last electrician was doing or the last team of electricians were doing,
it's going to kill your timeline.
They have no idea what they don't understand what they have done, what they haven't, without tearing into more walls.
Yep.
And so it really is
weeks of time.
Weeks of time.
Just
so
for them to figure out what's going on in the home.
They don't even know. So it is wise, for sure, you know, even looking back at, you know, this project's done, like even looking back, for sure, it made sense to wait. It did. It didn't matter that it cost us a little bit more time. Yes, time is money. But we have done this before where we did hire another, you know, because this is not the first time that our house has been.
Fired a crew in the middle and tried to hire another one. It was just as bad as letting the existing crew be slow and finish it.
Yeah. So some people always ask, well, what do you do to prevent break-ins from happening? Like, that's been a big question that we get, because we have so many properties that do get broken into all the time. And
seems like every third one gets broken into.
Oh, for sure. It's, you know, the answer is we've tried a lot of different things, from doorbell cameras to just
security systems, Wi-Fi cameras.
It doesn't really matter. It's the truth. People are going to break in and steal stuff, whether if they want it, they're going to do it anyway, no matter what the cost. And especially during when times are hard, like, people make decisions that they wouldn't normally make, and I just take it as, well, obviously they needed it more than we did. I mean, there's not much more than we can say about that.
But it sucks and it's mean.
I know. Go get a job. Go get a job. Go get a job.
Well.
Go get a job. Broken windows, that sucks. That hurts our timeline.
We had 2 floods in this property.
I know.
So right after we put the sheetrock up, and painted. We had just put the sheetrock up, paint had just gone up, and somehow, either during demo or during the sheetrock process or during framing, somebody nicked the water line on the tub, the upstairs bathroom tub. So when we turned the water back on, we had this bubble, and we poked it, and it just all down onto the floor. We ended up having to redo about, $1,000 worth of sheetrock and paint?
More, absolutely. Because it was the entire, so it came all the way down this side of the wall, the entire, if you were downstairs and you were in the hallway, it was the entire hallway and all the walls of the hallway. So yeah, all of it had to get redone.
Yay!
And it's not like Mutter, you know, they're booked out too. So it's not like you can just have them come back in.
Yeah, it's not a column and a, hey, I'll be there in 5 minutes. It's a column and I'll be there in 5 weeks is what it is.
The lawn. Okay, so
This was more human error, I think.
Oh no, there was a lot of people who should be at fault here, but nevertheless it happened. So yes, human error, sure, but great news, we're all at fault because we didn't fix it in time. So this was a $12,000 mistake. There's the opening. $12,000 mistake that could have been mitigated, and that's why it's an issue. There's some problems that you have, like who knew that the flood would happen, or who knew, there's so many problems that we do come up against where it's like, you could have never, anticipated the break-in. You could never anticipate so many of the things that do happen to us on a daily basis. But this one could have been, and so that's why I'm absolutely furious.
But what happened was the sprinklers got turned off on accident. The power had to be turned off, the water had to be turned off. Sprinkler systems rely on both those things, right? So when the power and water, and those two things were turned off individually because work needed to be done in the house, right? Well, when those two things were turned on, nobody thought to check the sprinkler system. And we have had a 100-degree every single day, 100-degree plus weather in Utah this summer of 2022, right? So it's been incredibly hot.
In 1 week, because we didn't check, it just like boom. And the yard was beautiful, guys. The yard was so pretty. I wasn't gonna touch it.
Vaporized.
I put zero money in our budget to fix this.
Yeah, because it was amazing.
It was
The
so
yard was
pretty.
beautiful.
It was so pretty. I will give a little light at the end of the tunnel. What we did end up doing is way more fabulous than we could have ever done.
It's definitely better now.
So I will get the money back.
Yeah,
I
we'll be able
mean,
to sell it for a little bit more because of what you did. But it still sucked. It really sucked.
because the time and energy too, because I'm freaking out at the landscaper, because really he should have known. Their job is to check on every single one of our properties every single week. They're mowing, they're maintaining our properties, and we're their
pay them
number one.
a lot of money. We're their top customer.
We're their number one customer. Why would they? If the grass is dead, why are you charging me to mow it?
Right.
And they did for 4 weeks in a row. They charged us to mow this lawn when it was 100% dead.
Well, and we as business owners have implemented a system of checks and balances for this. We have an employee that we pay, who shall remain nameless, to be the checks and balances for the landscaping companies on all these properties. And he did not. And so there was no oversight on that part of it. And literally, I mean, by the time somebody noticed it, I think it was Brock that noticed it.
Oh, sure.
By the time it was noticed, it was too far gone. And you turn on the water, but when you have 102, 104, 108 degree weather, you can't let it go for 3 days, 4 days, 7 days without being watered with any chance of saving it.
Well, this is what kept happening
And
too.
we just
it got
couldn't
turned
save
off, right? And then we turned it back on. We're saving it. 2 weeks later, we have the new landscaper coming out to tell us what it was going to take to is it even salvageable, right? Like, we're trying to list this house within 3 weeks or whatever, right? And so we're like, okay, is this salvageable? Like, what can we do? Like, talk to us. They go, oh, well, no, I don't think this is salvageable. You're going to have to you're going to have to do resod the front yard and the backyard.
$12,000.
Wait, what? So honestly, well, their bid was like 10 for all that. And I was like, well, if you're going to be doing all of that,
We might as well make it what we want it to be. Right?
Yeah,
we might as well make it look like a $1.6 million yard.
I got called 3 days before we were supposed to stage. I got a call from my wonderful friend. She seriously has been such an incredible human.
She staged a lot of our properties.
Most of our
you can see in the
high-end
before
stuff.
and after.
Absolutely.
You'll see. You'll be able to pick out which properties are hers because they just have the best staging.
I don't want to, make her feel like I'm not saying that she's not amazing, because I love you,
we love
Shelly. But 3 days before she was supposed to stage her house, I get the not even a phone call, I got a text message that said, unfortunately, I have a family emergency. I have to go to Reno, and da-da-da-da. It was a valid excuse, and it's fine. But that was it. And she said, I can't stage your property. What? What? I mean, it's $50,000 worth of furniture that goes into this property. Like, it's $50,000 worth of manpower and time and energy. And again, to back order things, you can't just show up to Crate and Barrel and be like, I want that couch. That couch is going to be 6 months out. Like, you don't get to just show up to high-end stores, and you definitely can't go to Amazon and buy everything from Amazon and put it into this property. People are they would laugh and walk away. This is a $1.6 million home. problem is the market is so finicky. So every person I'd call would be like, oh my gosh, Maylee, I love the opportunity to stage your home. Like they were super excited, you know, because they know what we do. And luckily we built up a name for ourselves. So people are like, you know, excited to get into our properties. One was so excited because she wanted to make Evergreen the cover of her magazine, like her staging magazine. So she was all about it. And then they get in there and see how big this house is. It's 4,400 square feet. Every single person turned me down. Like they came in, I had 7 different stagers walk this property and go through all the motions, and every person was like, there's no way we could do that in your turnaround time. Like you said you needed this done in a week. We don't have even remotely this type of like furniture available to you or for us. Okay, well, but so the problem is some of the companies would have, and I really do trust that they do an incredible job, but because the properties are sitting a lot longer, all their staging is sitting a lot longer. So they're also stretched.
We're running into this problem with lenders nowadays.
Right.
Like we're picking up new properties, and you know we'll maybe have the equity money in place, but the hard money lenders are like, we're waiting for payoffs from 5 other people. Like we don't have any money right now. Yeah. Things are just taking longer. They just are. And it's just a weird spot we're in the market. Yeah. Like, you know, interest rates have normalized, but the problem is the appreciation from the last 2 years where things have almost doubled in price. Yeah, it's a normal interest rate, but on double the price, right? So it's like, what do you do? And buyers just aren't coming out right now. So
there are. I mean,
in the high end they are.
Yeah.
Over $1 million, and we've kind of converted. We don't have anything under $1 million now that we're working on. The over $1 million people are because they tend to put a lot more down. They tend to be in a better financial situation. But the middle class properties aren't moving very fast.
Right. Yeah, that's been, you know, a huge bummer for a lot of people, and a lot of people are struggling because of it. You know, the stagers are struggling because they're not getting the furniture back to make money again. Yep. There's a whole process. I am grateful for everyone that came out, and I finally found a company, Utah Stagers. They figured out how to actually just go out and purchase. They had a lot of the high-end, like the couches they already had, which was the key. And then we did a full workaround of running around and, you know, buying all the things that we possibly could find to make this property really pop. So grateful that it did turn out. And that's it. You just go to the finish line. When you think you can't finish something, you just keep going.
Keep going.
Just finish it.
You only fail if you give up.
Just finish it.
Right? This is why I hit on mindset so much. As an important tenet of being successful in anything, but especially real estate investing. You only fail when you give up. Yep. If you have the attitude that there's always a solution, I just need to work until I find it, yep, you're not gonna fail. It may not go as well as you hoped it went, but you're not gonna fail. The only time you fail is when you stop. Well, guys, I think that's all we have for you today. Thank you for watching this episode of Flippin' Nightmares. Check us out on our social media at Flippin' with Mitch and Maylee. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel. It does a lot to support us, and it's a free way to help us out. We hope to see you guys back in the next video, and until next time, see you on the flip side.